This video will do an example similar to one found in your Lumen computer homework, where we're testing if one population mean of one group is smaller than the population mean of a second group. So I've posed the problem here from Lumen. We're testing if the population mean of group 1 is equal to population mean of group 2. That's the null hypothesis. The alternative is questioning if mu1 is less than mu2. You see that we have been given information about the sample drawn from population 1. It had a sample size of 20. It had a sample mean of 83.3, a sample standard deviation of 15.1. We see that the second population had a sample size of 23 with a sample mean of 101.9 and a sample standard deviation of 17.9. I'm going to open up the theory-based inference applet. I am going to select from the pull-down menu that I'm comparing two means. I put in all the information from the sample drawn from population 1. So that's n is 20, x bar is 83.3, and the S from the first population is 15.1. I put in all the sample information from population 2, sample size 23, sample mean 101.9, sample standard deviation 17.9. I'm doing a test of significance. So over on the right side, I select test of significance. It says that we are doing a null hypothesis where mu1 is equal to mu2. Remember, mu1 equals mu2 means the difference between them is 0. There is no difference between mu1 and mu2. So if you subtract them, the difference is equal to 0. That's the null hypothesis. If mu1 is smaller than mu2, then mu1 subtract mu2 would be a negative number because mu1 is small, mu2 is big. So when you subtract them, it would be a negative number. Mu1 minus mu2 is less than 0. I then hit calculate. We see that it places the statistic. The statistic is going to be 83.3 minus 101.9, and you see that it places that value here on our null distribution. And it tells me that the t-score is negative 3.7, which is very unusual. It's very, very low. It's almost 4 standard deviations below the value of the hypothesized mean. And it says the p-value is 0.0003, which is extremely small. So a small p-value and a t-score that's showing our statistic is very far away from the middle of the distribution means we have a very unusual statistic. We have very strong evidence against the null hypothesis. We have very strong evidence in support of the alternative hypothesis. So what's the t-score? The t-score is negative 3.7. What's the p-value? The p-value is 0.0003. The p-value is definitely less than alpha. The alpha was given to be 0.001 in this problem. The test statistic leads to the decision that we reject the null hypothesis. And our conclusion then is that we have statistically significant evidence in support of the alternative hypothesis.